Hello students, in this series we will discuss the concept of Laplace transform. This is the first lecture of this series. So Laplace transform is a type of integral transform. So before starting Laplace transform, let us see what integral transform is. So see here. So integral transform of a function ft is a function where t is a variable, is defined as integration from minus infinity to infinity kst ft dt, where s is a parameter and we denote this integral by gs, and the function kst is called the kernel of the transformation. The function kst, we call the function kst as the kernel of the transformation. Now, what is the application of integral transform or Laplace transform? Integral transform provide an easy and effective means for the solution of many problems arising in science and engineering. One of the popular applications is solving ordinary differential equations, where ordinary differential equations are converted into algebraic problems and then it is solved instead of solving the ordinary differential equation. Now, let us move to the definition of Laplace transform. So, given a function ft defined for all t greater than 0, the Laplace transform of ft is a function of a new variable s. Sometimes we denote this s by p also, given by this one, L of ft comma s, or L of ft, where L represents the Laplace transform of ft, is a function of a variable s, and it is defined as integration from 0 to infinity e to the power minus st ft dt. Integration from 0 to infinity e to the power minus st ft dt. This is the Laplace transform of capital F of t. Now, the Laplace transform of capital F of t is said to exist if the improper integral 2, that is this improper integral. This is an improper integral because the limit here is from 0 to infinity. If this improper integral exists or converges for some values of s, then we call that the Laplace transform exists, otherwise it does not exist. Now, what we have done here is, in the definition of integral transform, what is definition? We have seen that definition of integral transform is integration from minus infinity to infinity kst ft dt. So what we have done here, we have put the value of kst as kst is equal to e to the power minus st when t is greater than or equal to 0, and kst is equal to 0 when t is equal to 0. So if we put the value of kst, this one, in this function or in this integral, then we get this one, and this is the Laplace transform of capital Ft. Now, since this is an improper integral, let us recapitulate that improper integral from 0 to infinity e to the power minus st ft dt should be treated as limit from v to infinity, integration from 0 to v e to the power minus st ft dt, where v greater than 0 is any positive number, where v is any positive number, where v is greater than 0. So if this integration without this limit part, if this integration from 0 to v e to the power minus st ft dt exists, if the integral from 0 to v exists for each v, and if after the integration the limit as v tends to infinity exists, then we say that this improper integral exists, otherwise it does not exist, or it converges, or otherwise it does not converge, or we say it diverges. Now let us see what are the sufficient conditions for the existence of Laplace transform of a function, that is, under what conditions the Laplace transform of a function exists. So before giving the condition, let us see two definitions or two notions of mathematics. The first one is pointwise continuous function. So what do we mean by pointwise continuous function? See, a function ft is said to be piecewise continuous in a closed interval AB if there exists a finite number of points t1, t2, tn, where a is equal to t1, that means this a left end point a is equal to t1, then t2 which is greater than t1. In this way it is less than tn, where tn is the last end point b, such that ft is continuous in each of the open interval tr, plus 1. That means this function ft is continuous in each of the open interval t1, t2, t2, t3, t3, t4. In this way tn minus 1, tn, and in each interval at the left end point the right hand limit should exist. That is, at the left end point tr, the right hand limit must exist, and at the right end point the left hand limit must exist. So how it looks? So for example, say this is the point A and this is the point B. So we are taking points t1, t2, t3 up to a. For example, say we are taking this a equal to t1, then this is say t2, say t3, this is say t4, and this is b equal to t5. Say. So we have taken 5 points t1, t2, t3, t4 and t5. Now we draw lines like this. Say we draw perpendicular lines like this. So the function will be like this, say somewhat. From t1 to t2 it will be continuous. We don't know about the end points, so only at that end points what we should have. At t1 the right hand limit must exist, and at t2 the left hand limit must exist. Then again in the open interval t2, t3, somewhat say it may be like this, it may be like this. So what again, from t2 to t3 the function is continuous except at the points t2 and t3, where at t2 point the right hand limit must exist, and at the point t3 the left hand limit must exist. So similarly you can draw like this, say this, again say this. So this is what? Now see, this entire function from a to b, this is not continuous, but if we take these sub intervals t1, t2, t2, t3, t3, t4 and t4, t5, the function is continuous in these open intervals, probably except at the endpoints t1, t2, t3, t4, t5, where this left hand where the right hand limits at the left end points exist and left hand limit at the right end point exists. So this is a pointwise continuous function. Next, functions of exponential order. So what do we mean by a function of exponential order? So suppose we have a positive number m, positive real number m, and sigma be any other number, and t is a finite number. Then if for every t greater than equals to t0, where t0 is any number, for every t greater than equals to t0, this modulus of e to the power minus sigma t ft dt is less than m, or if we take this e to the power minus 5 sigma t in the right hand side, what do we have? Modulus of ft is less than m into e to the power sigma t, then we say that ft is of exponential order sigma. This sigma ft is of exponential order of this sigma as t tends to infinity. So what is the condition? That f is said to be of exponential order sigma if f satisfies this relation, as t tends to infinity, or as for some t greater than equal to t0. So these are the two definitions that we require for the sufficient conditions for the existence of Laplace transform. The first one is piecewise continuous function, and second one is function of exponential order. Now we move to the sufficient condition. The sufficient condition for the existence of Laplace transform is, see, if ft is of some exponential order as t tends to infinity, that means say ft is of some exponential order sigma, that means ft is satisfying this relation, this box relation. Ft is satisfying this relation, and also ft is piecewise continuous over every finite interval of t greater than equals to 0. That means if we take any finite interval of t greater than equals to 0, ft has to be piecewise continuous in every finite interval t greater than 0. Then Laplace transform of ft exists. So what is the sufficient condition for the existence of Laplace transform? First of all, the function has to be piecewise continuous in every finite interval of t greater than equals to 0, and it has to be of some exponential order as t tends to infinity. So this is the sufficient condition. Next, let us see a very important property of linear transformation. We call the linearity property. So what is linearity property of Laplace transformation? Suppose say C1 and C2 are two constants, real constants or complex constants. Let's say suppose C1 and C2 are two constants. Then the Laplace transform of C1 F1t plus C2 F2t, where F1 and F2 are two functions, is equal to C1 into L of F1t plus C2 into L of F2t. That means we can separate this plus, or this is the linearity property as we know. So this is linearity property. So let us see how to prove it. Very easy. Prove. So L of C1 F1t plus C2 F2t. So by definition of Laplace transform, what we can write this? This is equal to integration from 0 to infinity e to the power minus st. And what is the function we have now? Whose Laplace transform we are finding? We are finding Laplace transform of this function. So you can treat this as our ft. You can treat this as our ft. This is our ft now. So we know that the Laplace transform, definition of Laplace transform is integration from 0 to infinity e to the power minus st ft dt. ft dt. So now in place of ft, what we have? In place of ft, we have now c1 f1t plus c2 f2t dt. Now since integration is linear, so what we can write? We can write this as integration from 0 to infinity e to the power minus st into c1 f1t dt plus integration from 0 to infinity e to the power minus st c2 f2t dt. c2 f2t dt. So we can write this, we can bring this constant c1 out of this integration and this constant c2 out of this integration. So we can write this as c1 integration from 0 to infinity e to the power minus st f1t dt plus c2 integration from 0 to infinity e to the power minus st f2t dt. Now recall the definition. What is this? Integration from 0 to infinity e to the power minus st f1t dt. This is what? This is the Laplace transform of this function f1t. Similarly, this is the Laplace transform of this function f2t. So in place of this integration, what we can write? We can write this as the Laplace transform of f1t, and this is the Laplace transform of f2t. So thus we got this result. Proof.